I was asked to, my teaching and research focus on water in a wide variety of ways. I'm interested in water and the environment and human use of water. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the hydrologic environment in which you're going to be walking. And I was asked to do that in the context of public versus private land. And the couple of things about the public and private I'd like to start with to get you thinking. One is that you've just crossed over the crest, so you're on the Pacific side now, and many of the streams that flow off the west side of the Santa Cruz Mountains have hosted populations of migratory anadromous fish like steelhead. And the interesting thing about these streams is that the headwaters, the little streams way upstream where the water starts, if you will, those tend to all be on public land, and the low level, when they just down close to the ocean, all tends to cross private land. And so you'll be going on that gradient. And that has some implications. Now, of course, a lot of the public land was private land, which is another part of the public-private story that really is relevant to water, and that's largely the impacts of logging. And so I want to talk a little bit about that as we go along. You're going to be going down the Purissima Creek Trail, which is actually one of my field sites. And one of the things that we're interested in understanding is the nature of those little headwater streams that feed water into the lower portions of the stream that actually host steelhead. And most of these small streams, we know very little about them. We don't have, they're not instrumented typically, and so we know they're up there and we know that things must be happening there, but we don't know much about it. And so one of the things we're trying to do, and that you'll be able to think about as you go along, is understand the nature of those little streams, how they behave, and how they influence downstream. And we are able to study them largely on the public land because we can get access. Now you won't notice if my student's been doing his job, you won't notice his field site because he has to carry everything on his back, come in, put some instruments down, make some measurements, and then he disappears again. And so there shouldn't be any residual, that's part of our deal with Post and other groups that allow us on their land. So what we're trying to figure out is to understand the differences. And so to give you an example, this year, as you were coming up, you probably didn't see any flowing water. Did you see any at all?
A little bit.
Just a little tiny bit, yeah. And those are going to be dry in probably less than a month. Okay? As you go down, you're going to be going down the trail, and what you'll see as you go down on the north side, on the right side of the canyon, if you look up and look at the vegetation, it'll be dominantly chaparral. On the left side, which is the north-facing side, it will be largely redwood and Doug fir. Turns out the streams on those two sides of the valley behave very differently. The chaparral side, they're already dry.